Good morning, everyone, or evening, depending on where you're at. I know we have some people in a different time zone right now. I am really excited, as always, to talk about a special guest. We have a trainer. Her name is Donna Roggio, and she is brilliant at finances. So if you're just new to salon training, I'm going to share something really quick. So salontraining.com is a resource for the beauty industry professionals to find trainers like Donna that we'll be speaking with. You can come up here to trainers and you'll find Donna and all the information about her whenever we're done here. You can find her email to talk to her phone number, Facebook, Instagram, website. You can follow all of the trainers on here. They all have that, which is awesome. We also have classes. You can search for in-person, virtual, and even a library. So after this live interview, if you miss it, don't worry. It will be posted in the library if you can't see all of it. Also jobs. We still know everybody is hiring. It seems everybody, I don't know what is going on where everybody is, but if you are looking for a job, you can come here and click on this. Or if you are an owner and you want to add your job, you can list this here. Products. And sorry, my dog is barking. I thought that I let them both in before this started, and I hear the little one out there. If you're looking for professional products, you can come here and find shears. You can find books. You can find all kinds of different things. Also marketplace. And we are going to be starting our color contest here in the next couple weeks, which we are super excited about. And we'll show you that here afterwards. So, all right, I want to jump in right into our topic today. So Donna, let me find out who you are, what is your name, what you do, and how long you've been in the industry.
Oh, I've been in the industry. I don't know. It's over 35 years. I stopped adding them together now. It's enough already. My name is Donna Roggio, and I do business coaching, consulting, but geared around financial strategy. So I really enjoy helping people to understand their money. A lot of people kind of push that aside. We work, and the money comes and it goes in and out and in and out. And I really like to teach people about their money and how it can benefit them and provide freedom.
I think every topic that we've had so far is important, but I have to say this is probably the most important topic I think that we've ever discussed on salontraining.com for our live interviews right now. And it's because you're absolutely right. I know myself, whenever I started my business, I knew how to work behind the chair, but I didn't understand where my money went. It was always gone, So you have to understand when it comes in, where it goes out. So let's talk about real quick. How did you and I meet? I know we talked about this here real briefly with Oscar Valencia, correct?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I think it was that Oscar said, I have a friend, Tracy, and she's opening this great website. And I think that you should connect with her. It's like top secret. At the time, it was still in your top secret phase. And you and I had set up a call together. And I know that he had talked to you about like the organization of it and everything. So of course, my business mind, my financial mind was like, Tracy, let's have a conversation. I want to hear what you're doing and see, what it's all about and see how you're going about it.
Absolutely. So he was such a great guy. For those of you that knew him, you knew what we're talking about. He was so fun. He was definitely a wealth of knowledge in what he taught as well. So I'm glad that he connected with us. Thank you for being part of salontraining.com. And we had lots of conversations at the very beginning about it. So thanks for sticking with it on Model 2. All right, so let's get into the main. How did you get into teaching others about financials?
How did I get into teaching others? People ask me. That's how I got into it, is people in my local community where my salon was. I had a salon for 19 years. Started reaching out and saying, can you help me too? Can you help me too? I hear great things about your salon. And this was back in, I want to say like 2011 that this happened. So when I still had my salon, I started working with local salons in my area, helping them with their more of like, at that point, it was probably more about their business, their team, their onboarding processes like this. And I still do that, but my passion is absolutely finance, helping people with their finance. Yeah, I like those.
Did you struggle at the very beginning and then you got some resources? I mean, it seems like many coaches and trainers kind of fell in that, where you had a little bit of a struggle and then boom, something helps you.
Yeah, there was definitely a big struggle. You asked me how I got into it. So that's how I got into the coaching part. But the understanding of the finances happened because I didn't understand. And I was kind of at the mercy of a really nice woman that was my bookkeeper accountant. And one day I just said, until I really learn this and until I understand my finances, it's going to come in and out and I'm not going to, I'm losing. everybody else is winning in my business, around my business, and I'm the one that's losing at the end of it because I don't understand. And I created a system, which I still use today, 15 years later. I still use it for my finances, both personally and the business. And I created a system and I learned Excel. At that time, it was Excel, and I learned Excel, and I said, I'm going to literally learn my own money. I'm going to start with knowing nothing and figure the whole thing out. And this was really a huge pivot for me, huge pivot in my success with the salon and my personal life as well.
That's great. So we all know why it's important, but let's hear it from you. Why is it important to learn your personal and your business?
Yeah, so I think that a lot of times we just analyze our business. And we look at it and we say, what's our profit and loss saying? You know, this is obviously great as an exit strategy when you're trying to sell your business and you're trying to figure out what your business is worth, right? This is the goal, to make it a profitable business. But the disconnect that I see throughout many businesses, not just the hair industry, but service businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and things like this, is they never really understand their own personal money and their goals around their personal money and what they need in their life before they even dive into their business. So if you're saying to yourself, oh, my business is profitable, it's making 30%. Well, what do I actually need to take home? What do I actually need to be able to save for my future, my emergency fund, my children's IRAs that they can be investing at 12 years old, 13 years old, things like this. So, I think instead of working backward, to me, it's backwards. If you work from the business to your home, you're working backwards. So I always start with everyone doing the Fierce Financials, and I start with the person and start with your own basic needs and work up into your business, because there's a whole other side of it, right? How hard do you want to work? And I work hard. I love work. I mean, I love what I do. You love what you do. It's obvious through everything that we do, and right? But if you understand what you really need to get out of your business, then you can make business decisions based off of those needs. So maybe if being with your children and not missing any events is really important, maybe you know how much money you need and you don't have to work 16 hours a day and miss all those events, because you only need this to get you to where you need to be. We're always kind of just overachieving, and it's like this bubble that we don't actually understand.
I have to say, I went through that so much in the very first part of opening a salon. I worked 80 hours a week every single day for over 10 years, and I kept just hustling. And then whenever I said I had kids, I knew that's not what I wanted. So I, ended up taking a lot of business classes, financial classes, and I know that they work. So if you're out there listening to this and you're like, well, I don't have the money to take financial classes from Donna or from whoever, if you can't afford it, then you need to be able to find it to afford it, because once you do that, then everything in your business and your life changes. And I was the same way. I was able to work 2 days a week after having my daughter, and that was my plan. I never would have been able to do that if I wouldn't have taken business financial classes. So I'm so glad that there are people out there that like you, that help people like me that were struggling at one time.
Yeah. I have one of my friends, Elaine Travis, in the industry. She's always saying, Donna, there's only one problem with what you do. And I'm like, what? And she goes, it's just not fun. It's not like something that it's colorful and it's sexy on the outside. And it's like, hey, I want to do that. Or I want to do this photo shoot, or I want to do this, or this creative color. Finances are like the thing that people really avoid. It's like her eyes roll into her head when I start talking about stuff like this and the organization of it. But the thing that actually happens is there's so much clarity around your own person once you really have a gauge and a gouge on what you really need. And that, to me, is fun, when you have a sense of accomplishment for what you've done, but also a sense of safety because you understand where you are financially. It's not just whirling around in your head of like the thing that's never going to happen because you don't even know what that thing is because you haven't defined it.
That's true. And I think many of us just go on the hamster wheel of life all the time with our finances, and it's the same year after year after year, and there's no changes. And you're right, those classes, no offense, they are boring sometimes. And I've sat in them too. And I've actually taught different things with it's just pen and paper. And you are like, oh my gosh, how much more can I do this? I'm a hairdresser. I need to stand. I need to move. I need to color. I need to do this with my hands. But if you understand it and get someone to help you with that, my goodness, the amount of stuff that can come after that, and it, like you said, you can make it fun because you can find fun money. You can find money for stuff like that. So how does someone start whenever you talk about like knowing it and understanding it? Where does someone start?
Well, someone start without coaching, you mean starting on their own?
Either with you or with that. Like, what is like a tip that they can say, if yeah, I guess without you first, without somebody,
Okay.
what is one thing that they can do today?
Okay, so the one thing that I think would be great if everybody could do today that's listening that actually really is interested in getting a focus on their money is to go through their month, go through their credit card, go through their bank account, go through all their spending and really get a gauge on what they need to live in their personal life only every month. People don't even know what that number is. They just know my rent is this or my mortgage is this. Really get it. If you're not a computer friendly person, just get a piece of paper and a pen and write down, do an average of the last 3 months of everything that you've spent in the month to just have an idea of what you need. What is your basic fundamental needs? And by going through that, I promise people will cancel things. So they'll be like, I didn't even know I was spending money on that, or I don't need that anymore, or I'm getting double charged for this, or I didn't realize this price went up. So it'll save everybody money just from going through that. And I think that that's pretty cool when people are like, hey, you just saved me $350 a month because I caught something that I otherwise wouldn't have looked at, because it's just going in and out.
Keeping receipts for personal stuff too, right? Like I remember doing that one time, and I even like had to save a receipt for a pack of gum that I bought for like 50 cents, because I wanted every single thing in my personal life I wanted to know that average. So that it was definitely eye-opening. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I happen to be a big fan of, I know that there's a lot of financial people out there that are like, no debt. And I totally believe in no debt, but I totally believe in credit cards. So to me, a credit card is a way to streamline all of your payments. And this is for somebody that already has an idea of what they're making, what they're earning. They're ready for this stage. It's not like the beginning stage. But I utilized credit cards for my entire time having the salon, and I flew on my miles from just normal purchases that I would have done. And I paid zero interest for the year, zero. The only thing that I paid was my $95 membership fee every year. And that also got me TSA and it got me a whole bunch of other things. So, I'm also about finding ways to like maximize how you can get the most benefit out of these different things. So you're saying that you're keeping receipts where if you're using a credit card, your total tracking, if you're organized, your total tracking for everything that you spend is right on there.
Sure.
As long as you know that you're not, who was I talking to? I was on the phone with somebody yesterday and we were looking at something and it was her debit card that she was using for every single one of her purchases for both her personal and her business. And I'm like, this is like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that could, and one of your goals is to fly and see your children. So if you're organized enough around your money, you can take a trip once a weekend every month just based off for free, just based off of what you're already spending and not making any changes just from being more organized. And I think that that's fun. For me, that's fun.
That's a great idea. Okay. And you said okay, so how would you start them? If they were coming to you, like what is something that you would have them do obviously right away, which would be what we just talked about, their personal, right? And then how do you like, is there steps that you work on? Is there a program? How does that?
So I designed a program. It's all in Google Sheets. And well, the first thing that we do is set goals. So when I start working with somebody, I like to know about their goals because I think that this is something that's a motivator for all of us when we have, and some people need to be prompted for their goals and some people already know what their goal is, especially after COVID. Like I didn't have any emergency fund. Okay, so if a goal is an emergency fund, then that becomes our goal to finish by the end of the 6-month course. So when I work with somebody, we work together twice a month for 90 minutes each. We share the screen and I really not only teach people about their money, but I teach people how to do the system themselves for their entire lifetime. So it's a repeatable process, which I think is the most magnificent thing because, we tend to want to hand off our money. It takes an hour and a half to do your money for your business and your personal, an hour and a half a month to look at everything and make decisions. So I know that coming with that also comes fear, comes, not just fear, but people have self-doubt, right? So they're like, well, I don't know how to do that, or I don't know how to even open the computer, or I don't know how to get into my drive. I don't know how to add lines, delete lines. We go through all of this. So there's like the technical side of understanding just in order to be able to, facilitate something like this long term. This is what I really love: the compassion, the empathy to work with people that otherwise would kind of put it away, or they get a workbook for something or watch a YouTube video and they just can't take that next step because it's overwhelming to take that, and they get lost, and then we need to stand up and we need to do different things, and we're artists and we just think that we're not meant for numbers, where all the formulas are already in there. The only thing that we're doing is learning how to plug them in. You already have everything you need on your phone. It's telling you everything that you've spent money on. It's just a matter of plugging it into the right spot. So yeah, we start with goals, and then I teach them the technology part of it and how to use that really softly. And then from there, it just kind of starts to happen. We work together, and everybody's a little bit different. I happen to have I wouldn't say a lot, but I think many stylists and creative people and salon owners, we also have a bit of dyslexia, so we see a lot in color, but we don't see a lot in numbers and letters. They get really confusing. So, I mean, for what my clients have told me, I'm really patient, I'm really understanding, and I try and find the tools to make it really relatable for somebody. So like I always have, my big Post-it pad here, because some of us like drawings and not spreadsheets, so that we can communicate in this kind of way. I don't know if that's exactly answering what you're saying, but I mean, I really work with people hand holding. That's what I like to do.
So this is not knocking anybody else's systems or
No,
by any
not.
means, but like say like QuickBooks or something like that. Is that like you have something that's just really geared towards the salon industry that's easy for us to understand, right? And we can just plug in numbers and it makes sense to us, right?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the difference between this and QuickBooks, because I started with QuickBooks and, I had this for eight or 9 years in my business. So what happens with QuickBooks is we put something in there and it kind of disappears because we set all these rules around it, right? So when we start to set rules and something disappears, we don't really look at it to the fullest degree that we would if we're actually physically doing it ourselves. So it's a super simple thing. It almost makes QuickBooks look intense and hard because it's that simple to understand and move around and navigate, that everything's right in your face. It's a beautiful thing, but it's even simpler than QuickBooks. It's even simpler than writing it in a pad and following a ledger, because it's doing all the math for you. You're just putting in one thing every month, one thing for each line every month. What did I spend on this? What did I spend on that? Okay, it's adding it up together and it moves into the next one and says, okay, this is how much you have to work with.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to do debt reduction too, because I think a lot of people have debt, and I think debt and payments are the things that like hold us down and chain us to our chair, or chain us to our chair from our legs, So when we can get rid of somebody's debt, there's a lot more freedom that comes along with that.
So what do you mean by that? Like, you like to get rid of debt reduction? Do you work with them on finding what their debts are, of course?
Oh yeah. We go
and eliminating.
And the best way to pay it off. So it could be, paying, there's a couple different philosophies in paying off the debt. So we go through that, which is the best philosophy for you, whether it's a snowball or a high interest. And then, but there's other things that go along with that. And I'll give an example just for the attendees to have a short, a short win is like, for example, we pay in America, I live in Europe. So in America, we do this thing and it's called payments. We make payments for everything. We pay off our phone, we pay off our car insurance, we pay off our homeowner's insurance. But what happens is, if you're actually organized enough with your money and your budget, and you're saving throughout the year for these things, you actually get a savings when you prepay for these things for the entire year, sometimes as much as 20%. You're saving on something just by prepaying it. So when you understand what you need for the next year and you're preparing for your next year, all of a sudden when that insurance bill comes and you save 20% on that insurance bill, you're like homeowners as an example, and your cell phone that you're not making payments through T-Mobile and stuff like this, all of a sudden you have this bigger influx of money. And now all of a sudden, in addition to that, every month you have like 4 bills. How nice is that? So then everything that's coming in, you get to choose. Is it for a goal? Is it for an emergency? Or is it for retirement? Or is it for my children? They're like the 4 main caveats that I see.
So for my children, for them to buy more animals, right? I don't know if you see, everybody that knows me says, oh my gosh, how many more pets are you guys going to get? My kids are like, okay. All right. Anyway, you also mentioned that you are going to be at the Seven Springs Hair Show, which, So if you guys are from Western Pennsylvania watching this or surrounding areas, or even ready to fly in, which I know we have some people coming in from California, Florida, that got tickets, that remember that show. It was amazing. So Donna, I don't think you were at that show before, years ago, right?
I think many years ago, I mean, 1989, I got in, so I'm
Oh,
sure
you
I
were
was
there
there.
too. Great.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure I was
So
there.
so many people that I would have never expected, from different parts of the world, that would say, yes, I remember that show. We keep hearing, I interview people that were there or in charge of it, and they're like, man, this was such a beautiful, it's a community type of show. It's really different. It's going to be really awesome. So you're going to be there. And what are you teaching?
This day I'm going over the Moolah method. So the Moolah method is about communicating with our clients, not worrying about price increases anymore, not having to post something on your desk, not having to send out an email. It's just a way of communicating with our clients about prices that you never again have to worry about any of this. And I love it.
Nice. That is a very heated topic sometimes, where I get different ends of it. So I have like professionals that say, I'm so tired of hearing that we have to raise prices and blah, 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 blah. And on the other end, I hear people that say, oh, I know I need to, I just don't know how. I'd really like to learn how to do this. It's a must. And then you have the other people that said, I wouldn't have survived if I didn't raise prices. We have to. So I love the fact that you're going to teach easy ways, so.
That you don't even need to say anything about it. It just happens and it becomes part of your culture.
That's great.
You analyze your business every year, and then, but that's the back end part, but there's a fun part to it. And that's about how to communicate with your clients, how to communicate and get the results that you need. And it's an average of 30% increase on revenue. So this is even better.
Fabulous. So if you're thinking about going to the show and you're watching this right after Cyber Monday, we have $10 off professional tickets, $5 off student tickets now until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. It is our last deal. So if you like deals, go ahead and get it right now. The tickets prices are very reasonable anyway, $79 full price for a ticket for 2 full days. And the amount of educators like Donna, the Wilsons, Fab4, there's so many different. Paul Mitchell is going to be there. John Paul Mitchell Systems, I should say, teaching color. There's all kinds of different ones. So we welcome you to the show, and we'll put the link in the comments after this. And just want to wrap it up by saying thank you, Donna, so much. And if people are looking for you, what are some things that you actually like? Do you have, I know we talked about this a little bit, but is there a program? Do you do an interview with them to see if they can be a best fit? How does this
work? I mean, there's definitely people that go through my website and just kind of sign up for something, but I really prefer to have a strategy call with somebody and see where they're at, because I do the Partners in Possibility, which is about connecting about their business and business growth, which I touch base on money, but that's really not the focus. And then I do the Fierce Financials. And then I have a monthly call that you're going to be on, Freedom Tribe, with a community of like-minded individuals and women that we do twice a month calls. And then I do the Moolah method, which is my other course that's basically online, that they can take that independently to learn how to do that as well.
And just a personal note, you travel. Can we touch on some things that you were doing last year at this time? I think where did you travel? And you did some
Namibia. Yeah, that's coming up again. Yes, really? I go to Namibia every January. Well, except for COVID year, but I go to Namibia in Africa in January and stay with a tribe. Like literally stay right in with the tribe. One of my friends in Ibiza is a musician. I just traveled with them for 3 weeks on a tour in Germany. But he made the music for a film called Ghostland. This is about the tribe. So if anybody wants to learn about them. And
is that movie now? Is it
Ghostland is on, I think it's on like YouTube.
Okay.
And I think I have a link on my Instagram up in, the link tree or whatever, that you can watch it from there too. But we literally go and stay on the property with the tribe, and they're living on the dirt and we're living in a tent on the top of a truck. And last year it was so cool. I started like 2 weeks before Christmas and just saying, hey, I'm going. If anybody wants to donate money, you can Venmo me or do this. And I was never expecting at all. I had $6,000 from our wonderful industry come through, and I bought in Namibia, like literally went to the grocery store myself, put it in the cart, loaded 2 trucks. I forget how many tons of food it was. And we delivered it to the village, and they distributed it to 800. I think it was like 856 people.
And you're doing that again in January?
I'm totally doing it. Okay.
Will you be able to put something up on salon training with that, and then we'll share that, of course,
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay,
Yeah, I
because
would
we
love
have
to.
a donation section, like, and it goes right to yours. It doesn't come through salon training. It goes to
Yeah,
however you set
just,
it up.
I just want to say it out loud, not 1 cent. I mean, I spend 6 grand when I go myself. Not 1 cent goes to me. This is not for me. There's no like anything. It's literally, I go to this, I get it changed over and I go, you know, all the receipts, I take pictures of everything. It's not for me, it's for them.
I saw pictures, and didn't you guys get shoes or something too, or what was?
Did I? Oh,
Was it
what?
shoes as well?
Oh, we get all kinds of things. I mean,
Okay,
for me, the food is really, they're starving. I mean, they're starving. They're eating from the dirt. So for me, like, I don't know how people think if they're hungry. I don't eat a lot of food, but I need it to think. So, but my friends, we did a race. They're putting people through training to try and get them into the Olympics. My other friends.
oh my.
Yeah, it's magnificent. Yeah, clothes, shoes, everything. We bring a ton of stuff.
Well,
And there's
thank
no
you.
organization behind it. We just do it. There's a group of people that do it. So if anybody ever wants to go to Africa and go along, you're welcome to go with us in January.
That is awesome. I don't call it a bucket list anymore because, like, I call it my life list, and that is on my life list to go to Africa.
Okay.
So I do definitely.
Well, if it's not this year, there's another year.
Yes. I keep saying all these things until my kids get a little bigger because I don't leave my kids very often ever. So, but they are growing up, so they're not going to want me around here soon. So
Yeah, the break is good for them sometimes. They appreciate you differently.
yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we will definitely put this on YouTube. We'll put it on our library if you missed part of it. And then obviously it will stay on the live. So thank you so much, Donna. We look forward to seeing you at the Seven Springs Hair Show in April.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks,
See ya.
everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.